Today is about the top 5 darkest cartoon series. I should remind you about the eerie sides of these cartoons. It will seriously leave you baffled and may activate your goosebumps, as has coincidental but yet accurately scary connections. Rugrats. Rugrats is an American TV series which aired from 1919 to 2006. The plot surrounds a bunch of toddlers which spends their day in search for adventure. Angelica, portrayed as the antagonist and despises the toddlers. This sounds like the typical childhood show to watch. Believe it or not, but Rugrats has an even darker side to this. The toddlers did not really exist. They were all an absence of Angelica's imagination. Chucky, which is in the show, is to be the main character, actually died a long time ago, along with his mother, most likely to a childbirth complications. That explains why Chucky's father is emotionally unstable and troubled. Tommy, who was Chucky's best friend, is a deadborn, which is why his father is constantly in his basement making toys for his son that never had a chance to live. The villains would appear to Angelica and the twins. Initially, the twins was aborted by their parents. Angelica is too young to figure out the genders of the twins. Hence, while in the show or in the imagination, were internal twins, which is why Angelica could not speak to the babies again. This links back to Angelica's made-up world. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants is a yellow sponge that lives under the sea, as we all know. It is just a humoristic show for kids. Or is it? There are 2 theories surrounding the show. The first one being that the main character were always intoxicated on the show. Have you ever wondered why SpongeBob is always very happy, energetic, and many times paranoid? Well, it is believed that he is addicted to crystal meth. This could make sense. His bad mood resolves in him by having his big emotional crashes. At times, he randomly experiences euphoric phases and becomes a subject to bad mood swings. Patrick, the star, was SpongeBob's best friend. He is considered to be the stoner of the show. He laughs at stupid things and appeared to be mentally slow and some sort of permafraid, and he is constantly hungry, causing him to eat much more than the other characters in the show. Squidward Tentacles was SpongeBob's co-worker and neighbor and is supposedly on heroin. He is always emotionally down and yells at SpongeBob for being too hyped up and energetic. Mr. Krabs, which is the owner of Krabby Patty, is on cocaine. He is really self-important, arrogant, and he is always concerned about money, as coke is expensive. The second theory is based on an event. The creation and his strange friends is a result of mutation from a nuclear explosion. In the late 1940s, a nuclear testing was performed on the Bikini Atoll. Since the characters live under the ocean of Bikini Atoll, the town in the show became known as the Bikini Bottom. After all, the show was created by former marine biologists. Garfield. We all know that Garfield is a spoiled cat that gets everything he wants with a snap of a finger. What we see in the show is Garfield bringing up his past life, reliving in old memories to keep loneliness away. This demonstrates that the comic book and the movies are based on lies, that Garfield has been making it all up all along, imagining a better life so he never faces the truth. Garfield has slowly gone insane from hunger and loneliness, that he temporarily sees reality as it is. But the truth is too devastating that he brings himself back to his fantasy life each time, as he's slowly dying. Garfield's eyes closes for the final time as his owner has left him to die alone. Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb was a hit TV show. It is about two brothers that spend the summer building the impossible. Here is the theory behind the Disney's hit series Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb are both Candy's biological brothers. Phineas was bullied a lot on school for being intelligent. One day a bully physically confronted Phineas and had punched him in the head. This caused Phineas to instantly die from head trauma. That day changed Candace's life for the worst. She was unable to deal with Phineas's death, so she built her imaginary world where he was still alive. Candace's second brother has a disability and can't talk too much, but she imagined him and Phineas is going on great adventures together. The real reason why her real mother can't see the things that Phineas and Ferb are building is simply because it is all Candy's imagination. The more Candy tries to convince her mother about Phineas and Ferb, the more mentally unstable she becomes. And last but not least, Disney's Recess. For those who are unfamiliar with the show is about a bunch of kids who is trying to make recess a fun place. Every day at school is an adventure for them, as they are trying to create obstacles created by the antagonist. Although there are many characters in the show, you will only focus on 4 out of the 6 main characters. The names of those 4 characters are TJ, Mikey, Gus, and Winston. The third street school was built after the First World War. TJ, who was one of the students that attended the school, was a young, bright, naturally born leader. The principal had launched a budget cut for the school's cafeteria. TJ rallied against that idea. During a protest, an incoming truck had hit TJ and killed him on impact. The spirit is supposedly still walking the playground, teaching kids on how to stand up for their rights, which explains his charisma and leadership in this show. The big blonde-haired Mikey was a gentle and soft-spoken person who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. The 1933 Great Depression was a rough time, and this built Mikey's bad eating habit. Mikey later fell into a coma and died from a heart attack at the age of 10. Gus was the shy, nerdy one, which was always bullied. Gus would sometimes converse with the spirit of TJ and Mikey, mostly because of their ghosts was his only friends. One day, his parents had forgotten to pick him up from school. That same day, Gus was confronted by the bully, who had beaten him up so badly that his shirt was covered in dirt and blood. Upon walking home and arriving, he collapsed at the front door and died. That is why in the show he is always avoiding dirt and filth. Last but not least, Winston, who was the last one to join the gang. He was a basketball player prodigy. Winston dreamt of becoming a professional basketball player. However, he was involved in an accident which broke both of his legs. Doctors revealed the devastating news that he can never play sports ever again. That news was extremely devastating to Vince, so he tried to take his own life but failed. However, this caused a major mental breakdown and he was sent to a mental facility which he died in. Vince's spirit is also joined with the others in order to motivate kids to play. Just to remind you, this is just theories, and I could be entirely wrong. But then again, these connections are dangerously accurate and makes you think twice about the origins of these cartoon shows. Thank you so much for watching, peeps. Hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Creature is very old and is considered to be a living fossil, and it is also considered. What?